my dad and I, we were going to visit a project, a work thing that we were doing, and we saw that there was a pickleball tournament in Atlanta, and there was 400 players on pickleballtournaments.com. And we're like, what the heck? 400 players? This is crazy.
And this is Chris's tournament, right?
Yeah, so it would have been 2018, 2019. And Annalie was 12 at the time. I had just gone to the U.S. Open tennis. Had a great time. Actually remember watching Donald Young play his mixed match, which was funny. And so the next month we went out to Atlanta. And we're watching the pickleball. My dad and I are playing in like the 4-0 or the 4-5.
What venue?
It was out at Windward.
Okay.
So we're at the tournament. And all of a sudden we hear there's a $10,000 purse or something like this. And I never even knew pro pickleball was a thing. I just knew USA Pickleball, Nationals. Like I didn't really understand there were pros. I'd heard of Kyle Yates, but I didn't know people were playing for money. I thought they were just teaching pros and people that were really good at pickle, right?
Yeah.
And they had a little court set up with, 4 or 5 metal bleachers. And like Chris and Chad, they were trying to do it the right way. Like you could tell Vulcan had just come on the scene. They were a brand new company. They sponsored a little VIP section. Like they had the vision for sure.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the play, and it was, Simone was playing with Corinne Carr. Lucy was playing with Irina. Annalie was playing in one of her first tournaments with her mom, Lee.
Wow.
She's 12. And I remember watching the play, and I turned to my dad. I'm like, I had more fun watching that pickleball than I did at the U.S. Open. This
playing?
Was watching.
Okay.
I loved it.
Tennis. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I loved it. Of the U.S. Open tennis, yeah. I was like, I love this. This is awesome. And so we just started chatting, and I'm like, there's 400 players here. How much did we pay? Oh, we paid like $75 each. There's a $10,000 purse. Okay, well, what if we did like 4 or 5 of these? This would be fun. Like, what if we just did a couple of these and we did a couple tournaments just like this one? And
what was the first one?
And so that's what popped into my mind. And I'm like, oh, and my dad's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Like that sounds fun. And, me being such an entrepreneur and wanting to do something, I immediately, I started obsessing about it. I started thinking about it. I was, running math on the back of my napkin, in my iPhone notes, trying to see if it would all work. I started doing research, understanding who all the best players were, started following them on Instagram. And then, I decided, hey, why don't we're going to have 4 or 5 of these. I want to call it the PPA Tour. And so the logo we have today, there's been slight adjustments, but my sister-in-law is a graphic designer. She probably thought I was crazy. All these people and I'm surprised Carly, she was so supportive throughout it. I had a good job. I had a great career path. I was going to make money. I was going to be able to support our family. And I started chasing this silly thing, spending a bunch of time on it. So I was doing both.
Were you still doing your other job?
Yeah, I was doing both. And again, I thought hey, 4 or 5 of these things would be really fun.
Yeah.
And so...
And you're thinking you can make 30, 40K per event.
Honestly, I never once thought how much money can I make? I thought this will be really fun. And if I can get these things to where they're not burning a ton of cash, let's just try a few and see how it goes.
Yeah.
It was very much of a hobby, trying to create something cool. I never thought it would change my life in any which way.
Yeah.
My life was going to be great with it. My life was going to be great without it. But I love pickleball so much, I thought it would be so fun. And so we decided we wanted all the best players to be there. So we're like, all right, we're going to make a big splash. We're going to offer $50,000 of prize money. And I started messaging all the pros on Instagram. And the ones that were the top players at the time, the Matt Wrights, the Ben Johns, the Lucy Kovalovas, the Irina Tereshenkos, I told them, hey, we're going to have 5. We came up with 5 different tournaments. The first one was in Mesa, at the Mesa Tennis Center, before this cool pickleball place has been built now. And I said, hey, we're going to have 5 tournaments. We want you to come to all 5 of our tournaments. If you agree to come to all 5 tournaments, we'll give you $1,000 appearance fee to come.
Wow.
And that was crazy for
How
them.
many players was this?
Oh, back then we probably had maybe about 32-ish pro.
And you're bootstrapped.
24.
There's no sponsors.
Oh, there's no sponsors.
Okay.
There's no I literally figured registrations, no ticket sales, by the way. I was like, oh, registrations and
should cover it all.
Yeah, and we'll lose a little bit of money, and it's not gonna change our life if we lose 50 grand an event or something like that. And then let's just see if this grows into something cool. And so we ended up loading up the tournaments. So this is actually funnier. So Bryce Morgan, who works for me now, I hired him to build all of our websites and do all of our SEO and all of our stuff for our senior living business.
He had an agency, or was he actually coding?
He had his own agency.
Bryce is great.
He's the best.
Yeah.
And so I asked Bryce to come and meet with me. We go over all of our SEO, all of our conversion stuff. He was doing my paid ads. And then I said, hey, I've got another project for you. And I said, I'm starting a pickleball company. I need you to make me a website. I need you to do all this stuff, right? And so you'll ask him now. He's like, I thought this guy was crazy. I thought I was just taking 10 grand from him and hopefully I'd get a small retainer each week, you know? And he'd never heard of pickleball before. So he built out the website for me. And we I told him, I said, because I didn't know how pickleball tournaments worked. And I'm not the most tech savvy guy. I'm like, I need
Pickleballtournaments.com?
Yeah. And it was so bad back then. It's really good now compared to then.
It is.
It's got some work, but it's still way
better than it was.
Back then, I don't even know if you were in the sport. It was still yellow. The website was yellow. It was not developed. There was no UI. No, it was yellow. Yellow margins.
Okay.
I mean, it literally looked like the phone book.
Okay.
And so I told him, I'm like, you need to figure out how to do all this. So he figured out how to do it. He ended up, I started calling venues around, found 4 places to run our first couple events.
Well, what was the cost to rent a venue then?
Probably about 10 grand.
For 3 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have to repaint the courts?
Yeah, I mean, we had to repaint the courts. We had to bring in the bleachers. It was a lot smaller scale than what we're doing now, obviously.
For sure, yeah.
But I think one thing that set us apart from the beginning is we understood what it should look like. And we were willing to come in from a place, no one had ran a pickleball tournament where they were willing to lose 50 grand. And so it allowed us to come in and be well capitalized from the beginning. And I remember running the first event and everybody was already putting it up there as the second best event. They're like, there's the US Open, there's this and Nationals. They're all kind of close.
I mean, I went to US Open before I went to the Atlanta tournament, which I think was the first big Atlanta tournament where we met for the first time. And US Open was grand, right?
Mm-hmm.
It had tons of people and they had the center court, but all of the production value outside of that, the logos of the brands, the tents, it was all very clip arty.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into the Lifetime in Atlanta and being like, wow, this is a real thing.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that we wanted to get right from the very beginning. Because it's the only way you could scale it, right? Yeah. You had to show people what pickleball could be. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so we put up the listing for the very first tournament. And we opened up registration for it. And we ended up getting 400 or 500 people within the first 2-3 weeks.
Wow.
Ended up having 650 amateurs at our very first event we ever did. And I remember it was on PayPal and my phone kept buzzing with new people signing up.
That's good.
And I'm like, this is just awesome.
You're just getting the little cha-chings every few minutes.
Yeah, it's freaking
hits.
It was great. Yeah, you guys know.
Yeah.
All your pickleballer merch, right?
Yeah.
Not yet.
That Shopify.
Yeah. Kitchen merch. Yeah.
But yeah, so ran that first event and now the rest is kind of history, man.